I'm Jordan Munson, and I'm an interdisciplinary studies major at Louisiana State University, with minors in mass communication, sociology, history, and business. The type of job that would be a dream job for me is a marketing and communications director or specialist. Some of the communication skills that I've learned are nonverbal communication skills, verbal communication skills, active listening skills, and leadership and management communication skills. Nonverbal skills are hard to pick up unless you know what you're looking for. For example, you can tell when a person is experiencing certain emotions, like happiness, based on their vocal cues. If a person's experiencing happiness, their volume will be moderately loud and varied in pitch and tone. Their tempo is going to be fast-paced and moderately loud. Their pitch will be moderately high pitch or a larger pitch and variation. Since learning about these certain types of individuals and organizational communications has helped me further my nonverbal communication skills when I fully entered the workplace. My verbal communication skills, although they're hard to teach and learn because everyone communicates, it is easy to understand once you're in the classes and understand what the teacher is actually teaching. Because the reason it's so hard to learn and understand is because people think that the way they are taught to communicate is the only way of types of communication. They would be wrong. There's different types of verbal communication, as in you wouldn't talk same way to your mom as you would to your boss or to your peers. For example, I work at a children's museum, and the way that I communicate to the public, or even through emails, it's a whole lot different than when I would communicate with my friends or with my parents in general. The way I communicate to the public is obviously I need to have a childlike voice in the instance of where they can understand. My organizational communication class helped me enhance the skill because learning about organizations and the environment and their shareholders. You never want to freak out your shareholders. You always want to tell them ways that the establishment needs to improve, but in a positive way. Or if the establishment is doing something in a not positive way, tell them how you're about to improve it, not just give them scary numbers and facts that will make them turn away and pull out from the organization. The skill of being an active listener is a tough one to use, and when to use it properly. In order to be a successful active listener, 3 simple techniques are going to want to be used. The first technique is called paraphrasing the speaker's meaning. Stating in your own words what you think the speaker means and feels can help you ensure understanding and also shows interest in the speaker. The second technique is done by expressing an understanding of the speaker's feelings. In addition to paraphrasing the context, echo the feelings the speaker expressed or implied. For example, you have felt horrible. This expression of feeling will help a person further their perception of the speaker's feelings. The third technique is asking questions. By asking questions, it helps strengthen the person's understanding of the speaker's thoughts and feelings. In addition, it leads to additional information. For example, how did you feel when you read your job appraisal report? The way that organizational communication has helped me further this skill is when it comes to conflict. You use active listening in interpersonal conflict, which allows the conflict to be resolved faster and a whole lot smoother. Lastly, my skill in leadership and management. These were not only learned in the classroom, but also by experience in the workplace. Rather than having more than one person's input on a project I was working on, I would rather have other person's opinions to help make sure the project or event that I was working on just flowed perfectly and smoothly. But in order to do that, I had to learn about demographic leadership, which I learned in my organizational communications class. This involves followers' decision making. They assume creativity and will be greater when in a broader aspect of life. Many skills involved in being a successful communicator Many skills are involved in being a successful communicator. My most evolved skills are nonverbal communications, verbal communication skills, active listening, and leadership and management skills. These skills will help me land my dream job because in order to communicate, you have to be a successful communicator. That involves being able to lead and manage others in a successful way that you verbally get across your message. Knowing when employees show certain nonverbal cues and being able to check on them in those uncertain times or when they're feeling low. And lastly, being able just to stop and know when to listen.